We're live with Lunch Break Live chef Lucia. Take it away. Let's get cooking.
Hello, everyone. I'm going to show you how to make Sicilian street food called Pane e Panelle, but I have another supplemental surprise recipe that's called cecina that needs to be in the oven for 15 minutes. So I will explain to you later very quickly how to make this very easy recipe. But for now, I'm going to pour it in the oiled pan so that I can put it in the oven and we'll see how it comes out by the end of the show. So in the oven it goes. And I'll set my timer for 15 minutes. Ooh, and there we go. All right, so pane e panelle. This is basically 3 cups of chickpea flour. 1.5 cup of chickpea flour with 3 cups of water. So what we do is we put salted water in a pan and we sift in. I use a whisk because you sift in the flour. Let me tilt the camera so you can see the actual stove and what I'm doing. So we sift the flour in while stirring. Ooh, there we go. And I'm going to do it a little bit, whisking it, because you want to avoid having lumps. So what we're going to do is make pretty much a dough. And it's now on medium heat, and you have to stir it constantly so that it doesn't stick to the pan, and sift it in so you avoid the lumps. And it's basically, I'm going to tilt back so you can see me. Hello. It's basically, the consistency that you want is like, I don't know if you've ever made polenta, which is made from cornmeal, but this, as I said, is chickpea flour. So you want a thick consistency, very dense, like a thick soup maybe, or a very, very thick soup. But you'll see the magic of this as it heats up and the chickpea flour combines with the water. It's going to become very thick very fast. So while I'm whisking, I will tell you a little bit about the history of this recipe. So Sicilian street food, and I think a lot of people think that street food is a newfangled thing, but it's not. This recipe was actually introduced by the Arabian regime or empire who ruled over Sicily in the 9th to the 11th centuries. So street food is at least that old and probably much older. The Arabians had already been experimenting with chickpeas, so they came up with this flour recipe, and it was if you tuned in when we made a ribollita last time I was on the show, it's part of the cucina povera, which is the poor kitchen, basically the cuisine of poor people. Now, this was so good, these beautiful panelle, so delicious, that the bourgeoisie, the wealthy, snuck them into their palaces and ate them in secret because they were so good and the streets were forbidden to them. So the recipe is called pane e panelle. The point pane means bread, and panelle are these chickpea fritters. Pane panelle because it originated as a sandwich, so that is the traditional recipe. But nowadays, people add parsley. So once the mixture is thickened and you salt and pepper it to taste, you can add coarsely chopped parsley if you want that. It gives it more flavor, and it also adds color. It's very pretty. Now you'll see on here, I'll let this cook for a second. You'll see on the plate that I have parsley, right? Like I said, and lemon slices, because these panelle, you can even squeeze some lemon on. Woo, there goes my parsley sticking. You can squeeze some lemon on this and eat it like that. Beautiful, beautiful flavor. So the chickpea has this rich protein flavor, right? And actually has a lot of protein in it. And then the parsley and or the lemon add to that flavor, which is amazing. So I first had these when I went to Palermo, which is where they're from. Palermo is the capital of Sicily. And I went to Palermo to visit fellow filmmakers, and they brought me to a street fair where we had these panelle, really delicious. The traditional bun, there are three different traditional buns that you can have them in, but they're not easily found here in the States. So, and I'm gluten free, so I'm going to make a gluten free sandwich to show you. I found this really great bread. So now let me tilt the camera because this is starting to thicken and it will happen really fast. So I want to show you how you see it's already clumping. You see that? It's turning into this batter already. So from now, it's going to happen quite quickly.
Oh my gosh. We have fans in here who are saying they're thrilled that it's gluten free.
Oh, really?
Yes. So many people are, experiencing with gluten free, or maybe they are told they need to go fully gluten free. So this is amazing.
I'm so happy because
yes.
Also, I want to show you. Paige, can I show them the bread that I found? Do we do brand?
Sure. Please, by all means.
Because it had the two. I'll show you. I was the brand that I usually buy was out in the supermarket, and I was like, I am determined. I will eat gluten if I have to, just to show you guys this delicious sandwich. But I was like, there's got to be something here. So this one had the two magic words, vegan. I was like, okay, good. Let me see if it's gluten-free. And it's gluten-free. So this is called O'Do's. And I'm going to write to them because they're amazing. And I tested one of these sandwich buns yesterday, and it is delicious. So it's perfect for the panelle because they're thick. And this thinner bread, it's not hard. It's actually soft. It gets a nice, crispy outside and soft and stays soft inside. So, which is a trick also, right? For gluten-free, there's always, if you make it yourself, especially, it's always very tricky. And even if you buy it, there's always a challenge. So, okay. So it was great to find this, especially with that consistency. The buns that are usually used in Sicily are a bit thicker bread, but those are gluten. So I'm happy to have found these, and I'm happy that you guys are happy. So look at this magic. This happened really fast, right? So now that we have this beautiful, God, I could just eat this with a spoon. So now that we have this magic, I'm going to put some more salt in just to taste. Oh, it's bubbling up. I got to stir it. It's going to explode. I'm turning off the flame now. And you guys can see, yeah? Nope. I'm going to put it.
Yeah, we can see when you lift it. I want you to know that Tom says he didn't know that there were other Sicilian vegans. He's so thrilled to know.
Tom, I did this for you. This is all for you, Tom, because I remember last time you said that exact same thing, that there were no Sicilian vegans, and I promised you a Sicilian vegan recipe, and this is not veganized. This is a recipe from the 9th century that is inherently vegan. So, Tom, questo è per te. This is for you. So now you see the beautiful consistency. What we're going to do, I'm going to flip the camera down so you can see the process, because it's a little bit tricky and has to work fast. So what happens is, now you oil a baking pan, a shallow baking pan, and now you spread this beautiful mixture on the pan. And you have to do it fast because it immediately starts to solidify, just like polenta, if you've ever made polenta. Okay, I hate to waste. I want to get every drop, every.
And you have been inspired for the centuries before you by your grandmother and your great-grandmother. Make these delicious recipes and to veganize them, yes?
Yes. You know what? Southern Italy, the cucina povera in all of Italy. Can you guys see this? All right, so I'm going to flip up so you can see. Look at how beautiful that is. And all you do is you spread it. You want it to be like a 3 centimeter thickness. So you just spread it nicely, and then you want to make it as smooth as you can. As smooth as you can on top. So you'll have these nice, these nice sandwich ready fritters. Ooh, let me flip that around. And as I'm finishing this, I'm going to talk to you. So Paige, to answer your question, I am very inspired by the cucina povera, the poor people's kitchen, because my parents were born in rural Italy, and all over Italy, right? There's not a wealthier region of Italy. So all over Italy, there's cucina povera, as you'll see in just 5 minutes. If you had tuned in at the beginning of this segment, you would have seen that I have a surprise recipe, cecina, which is also made of chickpea flour, and that is cucina povera from Tuscany, right, which is in the north of Italy. So I'm very inspired by these because these regions, the poor people did not have access to meat. Those were reserved, animals were reserved for special occasions if you could afford it, or for the barons and lords who lorded it over the poor. There is so much vegan food in Italy, so much of it. And I have never had a hard time. I've been going to Italy since I was 6 years old, became vegetarian when I was 12, vegan since 96, and I have never had a hard time eating in Italy. And discovering, dishes like this that are inherently vegan, centuries old, is so exciting. All right, so now we've spread this thing. So what you do now is you let this cool. You see, let me hold it up to you. You let this cool for about 30. Can you see the steam coming off the pan is actually hot. You let this cool for 30 to 40 minutes. So I'm just going to set it right here. And after the 30 minutes is up, this is what it looks like, right? Same thing, just chilled. And then you slice it into these squares, like 5 centimeter by 5 centimeter. And I will show you what you do next. You take your pastry brush or basting brush, and let me tilt the camera down. Hello. And you just brush them with some olive oil. Okay. And then you set the oven to 350. Okay, brushing those. There we go. You can put more or less. I try to put as little as possible to be as healthy as possible. So you brush those with olive oil, and then you set the oven to 350 and you bake them for about 15 minutes. Now, they'll pretty much come out the same. So what I like to do is put them in the broiler for about 5 to 7 minutes so they get this kind of, more golden top, more golden. Traditionally, these are fried. So I prefer the healthier version, and also I'm a disaster at frying. So I prefer to have the healthier version. Now, what happens after you put these in the oven for that time, I'll be right back.
Thanks everybody for watching with us. We are Lunch Break Live. And yes, we are being blessed in the kitchen with Lucia's vegan lifestyle. I can't wait for you to tell us all about your brand as well. And look at this deliciousness, everybody.
Okay.
Wow.
Thanks, Paige. You have to say the Italian version, Lucia.
Lucia.
When we do the Caribbean or the French, or we'll do Lucia.
Okay. All right, amazing. What's next?
So what's next is I'm going to take the bun out of the oven. I'm going to I have toasted that bread. You see this lovely bread? That's the gluten-free bread I just showed you, the vegan gluten-free bread. And all you do is you're supposed to serve these warm. So I pre-made these, obviously, right? So you're supposed to serve them warm out of the oven. But for the purposes of the show, I pre-made this. So all you do is you put some Panelle on your bread, like so, easy, easy. And then you top it, of course, with the other side of the bread. And the bread is actually nice and warm. So would you like to see me taste it and see the results?
Ooh, tell us, tell us. Ooh. Okay, we have a question. Mm.
Over.
So delicious. And we have a question. Would
Mhm.
you ever use an air fryer? Is that
Oh,
something
I've
people do?
never, I think someone asked us last time. I have never used an air fryer, but I have a dehydrator. Oh, don't pick up a hot pan without, I do this all the time. I have a dehydrator because I love raw food, but I have never used an air fryer. Do they have did you want to try these in the air fryer? I would say
I'm
give it a
thinking,
shot
I think you probably could.
because you know
Um,
what? These are already cooked, right? Because we boiled them on the stove, so it's already cooked. There's no egg in it, right? It's just chickpea flour, water, salt, pepper, and olive oil. So you could even technically eat these like this. You just
oh,
fry them for the additional, you know, additional sumptuousness, or bake them so they have that additional crispy outside. But yeah, I would say go ahead and use it, try it in the air fryer.
oh, thank you so much. This has been such a pleasure. Let's see if you don't mind if you could show us the dish one more time as we head out.
And look at what I'm
And
thinking. This probably needs a couple more minutes,
ah,
but here is the chichia. So it's basically like a fluffy omelet, chickpea omelet, and there's
yeah.
rosemary in this. So I will
Mm.
send photos to have on the page with this recipe as well. I'm going to put that in for a couple more minutes, and I will show you this dish one more time.
Oh, you're so lovely. Thank you, everyone, for joining us on Lunch Break Live. We're going to see you next time. And absolutely, we are going to have Lucia back again. Thank you, everybody. And we'll see you next time.